Welcome to Discussions with Dedrick, a podcast that talks about real issues people are dealing with. In this episode, Dedrick talks to a woman who recently lost her dad. She discusses, during this pandemic, how she is grieving twice for her father and the absence of her culture. This episode is called No Poundcake.
Hey everybody, this is Dedrick. Recently I went to Shauna Gill Morris's home to discuss the last few months of her life. We sat outside, social distancing of course. It was a beautiful day, the sun was out, nice breeze. I asked Shauna if she had to give a title to the last few weeks of her life, what would it be?
Dedrick, it would be Silence in Death During the Pandemic.
Weeks ago, there were smiles inside Shauna's home. Her dad, Ron Gill, was surrounded by family.
We celebrated his birthday on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. He turned 85, and it was wonderful.
After the singing, celebrating, and cutting the birthday cake,
at 11 o'clock when he went to go to bed, he sat down on the side of the bed, and at 11:07 he had a massive stroke.
the family quickly called 911. Medic arrived.
He went to the hospital directly from our house. He stayed in the hospital for 14 days.
Shauna's dad is now motionless in the hospital. Nurses asked Shauna to tell them something about her father.
My dad worked at WGBH for 26 years, and he is a very well-known jazz musician in Boston. He used to sing with Duke Ellington's band. I used to sing with Sheila Jordan. I heard music all my life, and straight ahead jazz is what Dad would tell you.
After days in the hospital, Shauna's dad returned home, only for her to relive something she went through just 6 months ago, the death of her mother.
My dad passed on April 16th. So 4 weeks later, the mortician comes to the house from the funeral home. Fortunately for us, my dad did not want to have a big funeral. My dad only wanted to be cremated, and he's a jazz singer up in Boston, Massachusetts, and very well known, and wanted to have a large jazz homegoing celebration, memorial service.
But that can't happen right now, and this is where Shauna begins to hear that silence.
There's no closure, because I can't call anywhere in Boston and say, hey, I'd like to use your venue, and I'd like to do. There's no musicians that are going to all come together to do. So again, silence. You have these things that you traditionally, you know what? I'm going to circle myself around friendships. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the company of people who love me. I'm going to make sure that I go back to church. There's no church. This silence during the pandemic, during death, is so chilling. It's just depression is sitting in.
During this silence, Shauna finds a happy note.
And I went to look up something on my dad on YouTube or on Google, and I found something that I hadn't found before. And what I found was a song that Dad recorded 1969. Dad recorded Brother, Where Are You? It is just a beautiful song, and it really relates to today. Brother, where are you?
Brother, where are you? They said you came this way.
Shauna is looking for brothers and sisters to surround her physically to help her grieve.
We're still sitting in the kitchen looking for something to eat for comfort. No pound cake.
While Shauna waits for that pound cake, she learns a lesson through this silence, and maybe it's a lesson for all of us.
It taught me to hold on to old traditions, create new traditions. It's taught me to love hard and love for real. And it has truly taught me that tomorrow's not promised.
Thanks, Shauna, and thank you for listening to Discussions with Dedrick.
They said you came this way.